Inclement Weather News Briefing. I am Mayor Paulette Guajardo, and today I'm joined by City Manager Peter Zanone. As you've probably already noticed, our weather has changed overnight. Our city has entered a prolonged cold snap that weather forecasters are predicting will last well into the middle of next week. The city will see Arctic air pushed into our area and will experience temperatures that we've not seen in quite some time. That is why we are gathered here today to review the city's operations and plans for this week and into next week to protect some vulnerable populations, our senior citizens, homeless individuals, and our pets. Corpus Christi is a very compassionate city, and we do not want anyone at risk as we face these freezing temperatures, sleet, and dangerous wind chills. The city is planning on opening warming centers and shelters to residents in need that our city manager will speak about momentarily. Now I want to review another area near and dear to my heart, and that's our pets. As this cold weather intensifies, please consider following animal care services tips that you can find online as well at our website. Bringing your pets inside your home if possible, or your garage. If they live outside, just ensure that that they have some sort of shelter, like a dog, a dog house, and maybe provide blankets, towels, or put something on the dog if you have dog little clothes, as I do for mine. Put them on them just to help them with some extra warmth. If you see an animal in need during the inclement weather, we ask that you call area code 361-826-2489. And if you know that if an animal's in need overnight, you can call our Corpus Christi Police Department non-emergency line at 361-886-2600. So in the coming days, our City Council and I will continue to stay on top of the weather forecast to ensure the safety of our residents. The safety of our community is at the center of everything we do. So please stay safe, bring your pets indoors, and take care of one another by checking on your elderly neighbors and your family. And now we'll pause for a brief Spanish translation by Gabby, and then we'll hear from our city manager.
Nuestro clima ha cambiado de la noche a la mañana. Nuestra ciudad ha entrado en una ola de frío prolongada que los meteorólogos predicen que durará hasta mediados de la próxima semana. Se espera experimentar temperaturas gélidas. La ciudad espera esta semana y la próxima semana poder proteger a nuestra población más vulnerable, sobre todo los ancianos, las personas sin hogar y los animales. La ciudad también está planeando abrir múltiples centros para evitar el frío y refugios para los residentes más necesitados. En cuanto a las mascotas, se le pide llevar a sus mascotas dentro de su casa si es posible. Si viven al aire libre, asegúrese de que tengan algún tipo de refugio. Proporcione mantas y ropa adicional para su mascota. Si ve a un animal necesitado, se le pide llamar al Centro de Cuidado de Animales al número 826-2489. Por favor, manténgase a salvo, lleve sus mascotas adentro y cuídese uno a los otros. Ahora el reporte por parte del administrador de la ciudad.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm Corpus Christi City Manager Peter Zanone, and we want to thank the media for coming out this morning, again under somewhat short notice, to help cover and provide our community with information that'll help them through these next couple of days. We do have television media. I know we have radio probably as well. A lot of our broadcasters or media folks aren't necessarily here in the council chambers, but are watching this via WebEx or other social media platforms. So thank you for relaying it out to the community. So I'm going to go through some of the operational plans, and it's going to be a little bit of information, but the key thing to remember is the mayor and councils and the city work team, the department's goal in any inclement weather event is to protect life and then protect property. And so what I'm going to talk to you about, what the mayor just talked to you about, is how do we protect life? We don't want to lose any life over these next couple of days, and that includes human and pet lives. And we don't want to lose any property as well. So we're going to give you tips on how to keep your property safe during the inclement weather that's upon us. As the mayor mentioned, right after the city council meeting this week, and we had a pretty lengthy one, we already began to communicate with our partners, our department heads, and the National Weather Service. So we've been at this already for a couple of days to ensure that we give the community good information and that we have a good operational plan to protect life and property. So in addition to the city being engaged, we've also engaged numerous stakeholders and partners. We don't do things alone here at the City of Corpus Christi. And so we've engaged the Texas Department of Emergency Management, known as TDEM, the Department of Transportation, the Texas Department of Transportation, TxDOT, the Port of Corpus Christi, Nueces County is engaged with us, AEP Texas, the power grid supplier, Corpus Christi Council of Governments, the Downtown Management District, Christus Spohn Hospital, Robstown Fire Department, the City of Portland is going to work with us as well, given the Harbor Bridge connection to Portland, and then the American Red Cross. So those are the partners that we're working with. There may be a few others that I didn't mention, but we appreciate the partners working with the city to help the community. And so our goal is to keep an eye on and protect public safety for the community, police and fire. Our transportation is an issue. Water and gas is of concern, and we're going to talk to you about that. Homelessness is a big focal area of ours. In fact, the mayor, council, and myself, our goal is to have no homeless person outside during these cold temperatures. Now, some may not want to take the option of going to a shelter, but we're going to make sure that we offer every homeless person an alternative to the cold, and that includes going into a shelter. That's our pledge to the community. Animal care is a concern, aviation services, and then our construction projects as well. So Billy Delgado is here with me. He's our Emergency Operations Center manager, and we'll be opening the city's Emergency Operations Center on Sunday to just help better monitor the weather and implement our resources across the community. An important operational note is we do have a call center, the city does, a customer service, customer care call center, and that number is 826-CITY, 826-CITY, and we're going to put that into action if needed over the weekend. So it normally operates Monday through Friday, but as we get updates on weather today, and then again tomorrow, we'll make the determination as to whether or not we activate that. That means basically we bring crews in over the weekend to answer phone calls. So we'll let the community know tomorrow, dependent on the weather forecast that we have as of tomorrow. So let's start with homelessness. We're working with numerous homelessness agencies to ensure shelter, food, blankets, and clothing is provided to those that need it. Basically, we want to keep them warm and keep them safe in the cold weather, and bringing them in to shelters. The Salvation Army has been identified as the lead partner agency when it comes to homelessness. They've increased capacity at their facility on Crosstown Expressway to take in all those homeless that want to be brought in from the cold. And then they'll also serve as the referral agency. So once they reach peak capacity, they will help with the city to refer clients out to additional shelter space that we have ready and that is lined up. The Salvation Army can be and was designated yesterday amongst its peers as the best place to drop off blankets and jackets if the community wants to do that. And so they do have, the shelter is on Crosstown Expressway, but their headquarters is right by City Hall over here on Josephine, 521 Josephine. So if the community wants to drop off blankets or jackets or warm clothing, that's a preferred spot to do so. However, you can drop them off at any local homeless provider that will be willing to take those types of things for the homeless. Now, as the mayor mentioned, we're going to evaluate by tomorrow whether or not we open heating centers. So in the summertime, we use our libraries and senior centers as cooling centers when it's too hot outside. We can do the reverse in the wintertime, and so we have 8 facilities that we'll talk more with the community about tomorrow, and we may open those next week as places where persons that might not have a warm enough home or may not have access to a warm facility, and so we'll have those open for persons to come in. It'll most likely be open from 9 to 6, and we'll provide more information tomorrow. Now, the mayor was a big proponent of this, and we are too, which is our pet population. And we want to remind residents to take their animals inside during the cold weather to keep them away from the elements. The wind chill, especially as it can impact a pet's life. Exposed skin for the animals on the nose, the ears, and the paws can cause hypothermia for the dog or cat or any pet. And you want to bundle your pet up with a sweater or some type of clothing if you take them outside during these cold days. Animal Care Services will have officers responding to calls when animals are left out in the elements. And ACS will take appropriate action if a pet owner has their pet outside when it's below freezing. It's something we should not do, and Animal Care is ready to issue fines and seize animals to place them in a warmer situation. If you need calls for service, there's a couple of numbers here, 826-2489, 361 area code. So 826-2489 is a number to call if you need an ACS officer to respond. Another number to call if you see an animal that's in neglect is a more direct line to ACS through our police department non-emergency line, which is 361-886-2600. So if you, as a neighbor or just somebody driving around, if you see a pet that's outside that probably shouldn't be, you want to call that number to help us get to it, 361-886-2600. Let's talk about the airport. So in case anybody's traveling over these next couple of days, the next 5-6 day period, the airport is gearing up for the cold weather. They have protocols and business practices that they're quite familiar with. That includes having pedestrian walkways, terminals, and entrances sanded if we need to, if there's freezing rain that does occur. All our heating elements are confirming they work up there at the airport, so it'll be comfortable inside the terminal if you're waiting or picking up a passenger. We are retraining on operations and personnel, reminding our personnel about FAA requirements when it comes to cold weather. And we're doing things like de-icing operations, getting all those protocols in place, and as well as safe aircraft operations. And then we're also putting equipment in designated areas to keep them out of the elements if necessary. So our airport is open, and we're doing what we need to do to make sure we can still have air service in and out of the city of Corpus Christi. Let's talk now a little bit more about what we may be encountering more, which is our roadways. And so our Public Works Department are the crews that deal with the roadways in partnership with TxDOT. And our traffic and signal crews and Public Works will be on call over the weekend. And so if there's a traffic signal that's out, or if wires are knocked down, they'll be restoring them. Beginning Friday, crews will be pre-staging barricades and watch for ice signs across the city, so keep an eye out for those. We do have rock spreaders, as we call them, several trucks that we'll use to place chat rock, as we call it, over bridges and overpasses that the city controls should we have icy conditions. And tree crews will be on call as well in case there's some down tree limbs in the right-of-way, and or if they cause power lines to be down, we'll work with AEP on those. The city is well aware that we could have freezing conditions and it could impact our roads. We want to encourage the public to plan your route accordingly, and probably the best thing is to stay home if we have those conditions. But if you are out, plan your route accordingly. Sometimes just the back roads or what you think may be a safer alternative route could in fact be a more dangerous route, so keep that in mind. And do expect delays, and so plan your time accordingly, and drive slowly and accelerate or decelerate accordingly. Our Corpus Christi Police Department is also engaged. They will be helping monitor the JFK Causeway, as well as the Harbor Bridge and North Beach. And so they'll be our eyes and ears out there, along with Public Works, to inform Public Works and TxDOT of closures that we might have to make, and we appreciate them doing that. Our fire department urges residents to be careful with space heaters. The saying, follow the manufacturer's instructions on how to use space heaters. Never use charcoal grills or fuel burning devices indoors, right? We don't want to do any charcoal or fuel burning equipment indoors. The reason being is they produce carbon monoxide, which we know can kill. Keep a close eye on your children and pets if you are using a space heater. We want to protect them, keep them safe. And always turn off your space heater when you leave your home. Let's talk about electricity. So if power goes out, or say if ice conditions exist and a power line snaps and is pulled down to the street, you want to call AEP Texas for those types of things. They're the grid provider for our community. There's two numbers, 877-373-4858. That's for general or hazardous situations that you see out there, general calls or hazardous situations. So 877-373-4858. If you want to report a general condition or a hazard that you see. If there's a power outage at your house because of inclement weather, you want to call 866-223-8508. So 886-223-8508. That's for power outages. Call that number. Okay, down here near City Hall and near downtown, we do have our municipal marina, and they are securing boats and contacting tenants who live. We do have some liveaboards, as they call them, and so we're making sure that that population is being managed well through the cold weather as well. Let's talk about solid waste services. So if you set your trash out and recycling out on Monday or Tuesday into next week, no change there. The city will still collect on Monday and Tuesday garbage and recycling, and the rest of the week as well, but Monday and Tuesday are the worst days. Brush will be collected as well, and so right now we're in what is known as Area 3B, and that is on regular schedule. The J.C. Elliott Collection Center that we use to take out of cycle stuff is open. It will remain open through the inclement weather period. Let's talk about water and wastewater. So our water department will be in full operations. We have a reach of 500,000 persons in our water service area, 7 different counties, and we're not expecting any delay or change in water production and distribution, as well as wastewater, and the same is true for gas operations. But we do want to remind residents that at home or in your business, you do want to take precautions for exposed pipes outside. And so take immediate action to protect those pipes. You can wrap outdoor pipes like your hose bib with newspaper, insulation, or towels. You do want to remove that garden hose if you have one on that outdoor faucet. You can use also those styrofoam containers that they sell at home improvement stores. You can even use rags or paper if you need to, but wrap those pipes to keep them from freezing and cracking and then having a water flow issue. We do want to remind residents that if you irrigate your property on Monday or Tuesday, when there'll be freezing temperatures, you want to turn that off and don't irrigate on Monday or Tuesday. One reason is that water can trickle off into the street and cause icier conditions. So turn your irrigation system off if you irrigate on Monday or Tuesday. You shouldn't be irrigating over the weekend because we're in stage 1 water restrictions. Okay, we're near the end here. Parks and Recreation. So a couple of announcements here. Our public pools will be closed Saturday through Tuesday. So Collier is a good example. That's a heated pool that's open year-round. However, even with the heat in the water, given the extreme cold temperatures, the water won't be conducive for swimming, and so we're going to close that pool to protect our patrons as well as the city employees. So all public pools are closed Saturday through Tuesday. We do have a gymnasium that we're going to close near City Hall here, the Ben Garza gym. That'll be closed Saturday through Tuesday, so Ben Garza gym is going to be closed. Seniors that receive our curbside meals, we're going to have accommodations for them that are different. So we're going to be closed in the distribution of the meals Monday and Tuesday, just to protect the seniors so they don't have to come out, as well as the staff. However, we're going to be providing seniors with meals on Friday that'll last them through mid next week, right? So this Friday, a senior needs to go to our senior center to get their meals for the next couple of days, beginning next week. The home-delivered meals will be closed as well, and we'll be providing a similar situation on Friday. They'll be providing meals that the homebound senior can have next week without having to worry about having them get out or have staff get out. The city does have the after-school program known as After Hour Kid Power, and CCISD's campuses will be closed on Monday due to the weather. Cal Allen will be open, however. So Cal Allen's open, but CCISD will be closed for that after-hour Kid Power. Our Safe Fun Fit initiative that we've had since the onset of COVID, which is downtown, that happens every Saturday for several hours, and it does include a 5K. We've canceled it for this Saturday. It's just too cold to get people out there. And then there's a Valentine trunk or treat. We can't forget Valentine's Day. That's usually at the Salinas Park. And we're going to cancel that this Saturday. It'll be rescheduled, though, to the 20th. So keep those chocolates and cards and balloons. And the February 20th is when we'll be doing that. Okay, so that concludes our comments for this morning. I did want to just close by, and a lot of people can see this either going to your favorite weather channel or what have you, but with the National Weather Service's briefing to us this morning, some key things include the temperatures. So I just want to go over those with you. So today, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the temperatures will be in the upper 40s, the high. The lows will be in the lower 40s. On Monday and Tuesday, those are the two critical days. So Monday, the low is going to be 28 degrees on Monday. On Tuesday, the low will be 24 degrees. And with wind chill factors, it'll feel like 16 degrees or 12 degrees on Monday and Tuesday. The chance for precipitation on Monday is 73%. So with those extreme cold temperatures below freezing and a pretty high probability for precipitation, that's where our icy road conditions come into play. Also, there is a period between Monday and Tuesday where for a 24-hour period, temperatures will be at or below 40 degrees. And so it's going to be a long chill for 24 hours. And some of those 24 hours will include extended periods of time where the weather is below freezing. And that's known as a hard freeze. And we haven't had one of those here for a long time. There is a slight chance for some accumulation of the precipitation, not snow necessarily, but ice or freezing rain. And this morning, the National Weather Service is predicting up to 1/10 of an inch. So 1/10 of an inch of accumulation of ice or freezing rain. Okay, so that concludes our briefing. Again, we want to thank the media and those that might be watching directly for engaging us. Mayor, thank you for doing this as well. We're here to answer any questions that you might have from the media.
Yes, ma'am. If our police department advises us that they see conditions where a certain road needs to be closed, then yes, absolutely. And at that time, we will make that announcement.
And with the homeless population, given we're still in the pandemic, there's still like lots of capacity for the homeless population once they go to these separate areas like shelters.
Will there be?
There's enough.
Yes, room. Yes, so we'll be ready to supplement if we need to. As the city manager said, Salvation Army is going to increase their capacity, but we are ready and we've discussed a backup plan, if you will, if more need to be, if more people need to be housed. Right. Well, there'll be, the warming shelters are not for sleeping. The warming shelters, there will be no food provided either, and those will be only during operating hours. I believe, what time?
9 to 6.
Yeah, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So if residents who may not have heat in their homes feel that they can go there and spend the day. But in regards to homeless individuals who there may not be more room for at Salvation Army, we will be ready to assist. And so we're going to stay in contact with all of the agencies that we're partnering with to make sure that everyone is safe. Well, I wanted to also touch on that. I think, how many days was it actually going to freeze?
2 days.
2?
Yeah.
And I believe our ordinance is you can't, if we're,
is, yeah.
right?
Yeah,
If, okay, so if we have freezing temperatures, which is below 32? Below 32 degrees, then your animal really, it cannot be left out. And our ordinance reads, it's just cruel. And so we don't have anyone here from animals as far as the.
Actually, it's 3 days too, that's freezing.
Is it 3 days?
Yeah, 3 days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Okay, so Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, it's predicted to freeze, which means animals cannot be left out. So we really, and I was, as Mr. Zanone was speaking on that, I was thinking what I had just mentioned was, bring them in or, give them some clothes. But really, those 3 days, if it so in fact freezes, then those animals really need to be brought in. Because if somebody does call in, then, an officer will, I'm not sure how it works, but they could take the dog.
Gotcha. So there definitely will be like a fine for the owner or whatever who put the dogs out there.
Yeah, let me let Peter speak to that, because they
Yeah.
can take the dog.
Yeah, we're getting you the fine amount, but look, yesterday we talked to our animal care director, Joel, and their goal is education and communication. So it's really about turning behavior around, less about fining somebody. So the department's protocol is knocking on the door, talking to the homeowner. Sometimes they just may not know what the rules are. They might not even be aware of the weather. So trying to bring them into compliance. But if there's a refusal to do that from the homeowner, 2 things can be done. 1, we can seize the animal, and which we're ready to do. And then 2, we can issue a fine based on the city council ordinance that's approved. And I'm going to get you that fine amount. We're checking it out right now, and I'll let you know. Yep.
Thank you for asking. Anybody else? Yes, and we'll make an announcement. If and when we open the warming shelters, warming centers.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll make that announcement.
I'll just say one quick thing on
Yes.
And so as I mentioned, we've identified 8 locations. One key thing is that there's one in each kind of quadrant of the city. And so we've identified one in the Cal Island, Toloso Midway area. There's one in Flower Bluff, the island. There's one in the west side, one in the south side, couple in the central city. And so they're conveniently located. We're using either our libraries or our senior centers. And so we have a total of 8 opportunities for these warming centers.
And we absolutely will be reaching out to you so that you can put it out there, because it's critical. If you have seniors, especially senior citizens who may desperately need to get to one of these warming centers, they need to be able to access that information as soon as it's available. Thank you for asking. Yes, ma'am.
The vaccine clinics, there's going to be one tomorrow at American Bank. Are any going to be like postponed or
Yeah.
canceled at all because of the?
No, there's no plan of that now. So everything is still in order and scheduled to continue as planned. Yeah, thank you all so much for covering this. Thank you. And this concludes our briefing.